Good evening, folks, and call the meeting to order here at 1 Academy Street at 7:02 on Tuesday, May 17th. The first item on the agenda, pledge allegiance. Please stand and join us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Review. The only thing I added is D truck on your highway and personnel for executive session. Nicole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, a correction to the minutes that we're looking at is not May 5th, that was May 3rd. That was my error. So it's May 3rd minutes of the regular select board meeting.
Okay.
Under community and economic development, where I need to go, but is the RTP grant that Joel Clark has been working on and assisting. We just did a letter to send, and the submission will be real quick. And then under highway department, we received a call from the village that taking on the Rutherford extension, the trail, railroad bed. The residents up there are having a joint court, having problems with water.
Okay. All right. But we dealt with that alone. We can talk about it. That is, good, thank you. All right. I hear a motion to approve the May 3rd minutes. I will. Second those. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Public comment. Anybody got anything under public comment that's not on the agenda? That's good. Law enforcement, animal control monthly report, page 3. Right? Law.
You're just gonna get a follow-up.
I'm not gonna follow up on that, get road one, and we'll get a follow up from on that. Other than that, anything else? Hotel business, electric sign, where we at with that?
Okay, on 2 separate days, I made arrangements so that somebody, Wayne Kuchar, the headlineman, and I would be in the park. This company was gonna call us and they pointed out where to call, and then we're gonna walk through it. They totally missed the appointment. I gave them a piece of my mind. And so also Reggie came down. So then the following day we did it again, 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. Again, they totally didn't call. And it was Wayne and Darren were here down there, and myself, and we, well, basically it was like 20 after 3 finally. I had work to do, so I said, well,
Yeah.
hey, too late. So now I have looked at it. Dwayne and Darren and Reggie and Joel Clark has looked at it, and those are rivets in that sign.
Okay.
I mean, we all agree.
Yeah.
They don't believe us. So I had gotten a quote what the new controller was going to cost, and it's going to be $2,000.
Yeah.
And today I said, give me a quote of what it will cost for one of your service techs to come up here. And if we find out that we're right and it's riveted, what do we get out of it?
Yeah. So they're saying that, what's the deal with the riveted, the part of the controller?
Well, you take off a portion of the front of the sign.
Yeah.
Okay. And they said it's bolted in there, and an Allen wrench, you just take it and turn it on. Well, there's no bolts there, it's riveted.
To take out the controller?
It pop off the front panel.
Yeah.
Then the controller's right there, and you can take that. it's real simple if it is in fact a controller.
So why don't we just drill out the rivets and take it off so we can look at it?
Well, we can do that too.
That's as simple as.
Send the picture showing that they are rivets.
Alright, but yeah,
If we drill it out, damage it.
Yeah.
So that's what.
that's where one is, they don't work period, so.
Yeah.
We're out
So-
right now.
I'll see what they can send for a quote, but then, yeah, I'll ask them to come down and drill it out. And then we'll fix that, but, once they pull the controller out, they've got the testing equipment, they'll test it, to see if
Yeah.
it is in fact a controller.
Exactly.
There's power and everything going to the sign itself, or to the unit, because the fans are running, but, definitely they, there's nothing on that board. So, that's what we got, so we'll back at the drawing board tomorrow.
Yeah, no, if I can get stuff over, help me drill it out, I got that too, so, but I think that's a simple solution. Ball rolling. And if we gotta order a new controller, $1,000, I mean, is everyone okay with that? I mean, we don't, we gotta have someone get that fixed, so.
Noticeably,
So,
not even it's not working.
absolutely, absolutely, so, okay. All right, so we'll get ordered the part if that's what it is, so. Okay. Update on the 78 sidewalk project. One year. Well, let's get back from that. She's supposed to be here. New town business, open town highways, AP usage. Never seen so many people in this room. A lot of ATV riders out there. There's a few. Yeah. So you folks want to ride on our roads?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. It's all new to us, of course, so it's not new to other towns, but, so Brian did a little research on it, so I'll let him just, tell us what he found in research on it
What
first.
I did was, went to the Vermont Cities and Towns website, and they have a model ordinance, which, then I checked around with, 4 communities in Franklin County, then 2 in Orleans County that have got ordinances. Some of it is a little bit misleading. They may have adopted, like Fairfax adopted an ordinance for ATV, but the ordinance says they are prohibited. That's it. So they're not allowed on town road. The same with Highgate. ATVs are not allowed on highways. They do allow snowmobiles to travel to a section of Gore Road from the trail to the gas stations in Highgate Center. Richford ATVs are allowed on certain town highways and village streets. Now, use that term village in the case of Richford. There is no village of Richford. That was disbanded a long time ago, but the old village section is what they're meaning there, okay? If this board adopts an ordinance for town road in Swanton, that does not include the village of Swanton. They have their own ordinance. ATVs obviously have to obey all speed limits, traffic laws, and valid driver's licenses, registration and insurance, and must have a VASA pad on it. That's also the same with Sheldon. All their roads are open. Must have the VASA pad, but it is prohibited on bike trail, cemeteries, and town property. Then we go over to Newport. The city of Newport has allowed it for a couple of years on all streets. There was no copy of the ordinance online, but they, I've read some news articles about it. There has been a few problems, according to the social and print media, but overall the businesses are pretty happy with what's going on there.
We've been thankful for coming.
The town of Derby, all town roads, and they have an agreement with VASA or other local ATV organization, and then they must have valid driver's license, insurance, and registration. So that's pretty much it. We did have, there was actually somebody from Richford in the office today, and they didn't have much good to say about it, what's going on in Richford. So that's And, so that's, what I was able to find out. There was a number of other towns that I did check, but as I said, they had the ordinance, just said they were prohibited, so. And there's quite a few other towns in other parts of Vermont that have the ordinance, but the ordinance is all pretty much the same. So that's what we've got. I don't think that they're, well, Sheldon is rare because it's all town roads are open. And same with Derby, but a lot of the towns have restricted what roads are and what roads are not. And that's up to this board to decide how they want to do that. So that's.
Is there anybody who wants to speak from the group or about it? I don't know what.
I guess what I'd like to know is what you have in mind. Do you have a particular road in mind?
Pretty much just a link to be able to access other trails in other towns. Don't really say we want to come right around Swan back and forth.
Can you state your name before you speak,
Oh.
please?
I'm sorry, Keith Bushing.
Just mainly to be able to connect like from Swanton to, you know, Mike Coda. Swanton to Sheldon to, I mean, we don't need to go everywhere, but we take off every weekend, leave from Franklin, go all the way to Newport, Derby, zero problems. We broke down this weekend. The police actually helped us get a belt, got it put on. I mean, and we all spend, there was 25 of us that ate out this weekend at Bernie's. We dropped probably $1,000 in food there. You know, $300-400 in gas at the gas station. I mean, we're just missing out onto it here, but it's too bad. But you know, we're bringing money to Richford, Newport, Derby, but we're all leaving from here going there. You know.
So if you could ride from home, and you must not.
Yes. Well, from our area, I mean, we're doing it, but you know, it's too bad because they could come our way and spend some money in our
That's right,
you know,
absolutely.
at the restaurants, you know, the gas stations.
I can't help but be quiet about it. I'm Jessica Coda.
Yeah.
I think that it's just interesting to me that, you know, you've heard some negative things from some people. We've been thanked for most of the towns that we go in. People will stop us and say, thank you for coming. I guarantee it wasn't the Whipped Cream with Bakery that said he didn't like it in Richford because we go there all the time
Yeah.
and bring business there. You know what I mean? It's the bad apples, and you know, we still allow cars to be on the road and things like that, even though people break the laws with cars and things like that, you know, so it's the people that you should be enforcing, but all of the guidelines of the ordinance, you know, we're vested, we're registered, we're insured, all those things that you say, so.
My theory behind it was, my hope was that the good will take care of the bad.
And we
You guys are
will.
not behaving yourselves, doing what you're supposed to do. You see the other pumps out there screwing off, you're gonna report, you know.
Respect.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Respect.
There's more of us that are good than bad, and more of that.
And I don't care what you do in this world, there's always bad apples, so.
I don't care in a car, on a motorcycle, dirt bike, there's plenty of bad, but with us, I mean, we go just about every weekend, and like I say, we all leave from Franklin, go to Franklin General or wherever, to spend money there, but it's just be nice if we could do it from here, that's all, because there's a bunch of us that leave here right off.
Exactly.
What ends up happening, Sean Cheney from Swanton, what ends up happening is, as you said earlier, that the good will police the bad, and a couple of things happen. You're not gonna be out there where the knuckleheads are gonna be running around with their four-wheelers, but all the other people are.
Yeah.
They are gonna run into them out there, and they're gonna make sure that they don't lose that ability.
Mhm.
But also look at it now, like, if you're paying your registration, you're paying insurance, you're licensed, you're legal to be out there, you're no different than anybody else on there. You're not hurting that road any more than anybody else, but if you're on the road illegally, that's who's riding 60, 70 miles an hour. Why? Because they don't want to get caught. And even the folks that are kind of in the middle, they don't want to get caught. But if they could do it the right way, they would. If you look at these e-bikes now are doing 35, 40 miles an hour, and they're headed down the road, the same roads that we could be on out there as well. So, you know, when you keep the areas in mind that we want to be on certain roads, you obviously know we're not running down 78 in the middle of the village, but we want to be on certain roads that are usable. We also want to make sure we have access to those areas that we can get in and out of, but the good will police the rough around the edges.
So Morgan Manning, and I guess my concern is the enforcement. A lot of people are well behaved on them. There's plenty of people that already ride the roads of Swanton 7 right up through the village on the new road that's by the tracks. There's four-wheeler tracks right up through there, and I believe the police kind of have a no high-speed pursuit on four-wheelers, so those people know, hey, if we take off and try and outrun them, they're gonna shut their lights off and we're gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
So that's my concern. And I know not everybody is those people, but there are those people too.
Absolutely.
I've seen other riders.
Anybody else? Anything? Is there a VASA group in Swan?
The Northwest Riders,
That's what we all joined and paired.
Yeah, I joined the one at Richford was last year. I can't remember what it was, but never went riding on trails, but I did join it. But maybe this year.
it's a good time when you get out there. It's a
Yeah.
good family event. You go away together.
Yes.
All our kids like to go.
Yeah,
and-
we all have, a lot of us have four-seater, so our kids come with us.
Yep.
And I think the ones that are breaking the law now may do it then too, and it is a matter of enforcement, right? But those of us that want to do it legally should have the opportunity for that.
It's no different than people with the cars that
Right.
they know you can outrun the police and they're not chasing, which is probably best if they don't, but you usually just show up at their house after and then you give them the ticket and it's the same thing with the four-wheelers. Everybody knows who's doing what.
Oh, yeah.
You just go to their house and
Eventually.
you get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's a waste of time for law enforcement in all reality. If you're not doing anything wrong, what's the problem?
Yeah.
So if you're obeying the speed limit, you're licensed, you're registered, you're insured, shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
It's the ones that aren't. Absolutely. Policing is gonna be the same no matter what, no different than the highway department out here dealing with the speeders on the road or people that are breaking the law now. They won't change.
Any other board members want to chime in?
I brought a copy of the map just so people,
Oh,
you
nice.
guys
Okay.
go look at the fact that it really does stop, in our corner of Vermont. It
Yeah.
would be, it is a very important part of outdoor recreation, I think, and it could bring potentially a lot more tourism into the community.
I guess you guys are in the business. So, what do you think? You should bring us some kind of plan maybe of what you think would be the best thing. What roads or, things like that. I mean, because I don't have a clue what, it's nothing I've done.
Were you here when they started talking?
No.
No, basically, the first thing they said that they want to, these folks live in Swan, so they want to connect to Franklin.
Right, I understand that, yeah.
In that direction, so they can buy from there over to Derby or Newport or whatever. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, but what roads do you need? What do we need to do to make that
Well,
possible?
I'm Josh Bushy from Swan. So I live by Woods Hill. I'd like to hop on Woods Hill, take off right from my house and go up that way if I could.
Yeah.
And come off, what's that road that goes up by Russo's?
The Cook Road.
Oh, okay.
Cook Road and that way, those back roads to get out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go down 207, Route 7, anything like that.
No, I mean, Mike Coda, whatever you guys would let us connect the road, it doesn't matter which one's wrong, we'll all find a way to get to
Yeah.
there, whatever the most back road, I know some of them is like Woods Hill, but we're all gonna stay on it, we can go up that and then,
Get off.
off to the side and, you can please set 25 miles an hour, whatever makes sense,
Well, if you can bring something more specific, I believe everybody here is more than open to listen to it. We know people do it, and we've had people who say, oh, you shouldn't be doing it, but that's not, you can't take that right away from people. So, if we can put something together that everybody can live with and might make, bring some stuff to Swanton too. I think it would be a good thing, but we're gonna have to, look at the roads and do these other ordinances have time limits?
There are some that will have time, like, between the hours of 10 p.m. they're prohibited until 7 a.m., something like
I think it's
that.
8, most places I think they're 8.
And some don't have it, others.
some are dusted on too,
Dusted on. Changes with the time.
But a lot like Derby, Newport also, they avoid major intersections where all the car traffic is. So if you want traffic down here to get to Cody's restaurant, something like that, go around the park or go, stay away from the main intersection of St. Mary's and stuff like that.
That would.
right, this is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We put
If you want.
Well, yeah, that's, I'm just saying, like, you put signs up.
Yeah.
You put signs up around telling people where to go, they'll most of the time follow directions.
Right. basically, we're kind of suggesting if you put parameters out there, we'll abide by them.
Right, I mean, what about just like the main back road with a connect for most of us around here need to go up Woods Hill?
Yeah.
I mean, the rest,
That's a big one.
it's up to you guys really,
Yeah.
kind of.
And I'm gonna be honest, in my opinion is, how do you say, no, right on this road, right on that road, as far as I'm concerned, they're all the same.
And what's the
You know,
difference? Why
I
do we
mean,
have
two
to
oh seven's a state road, that's nothing we can do, that's not our road, so, you know, I hate road, but
Just crossing over.
crossing roads, going up the Woods Hill roads and anything, you know, Bushy Road and Beach to Cook Road and
Mhm.
those roads are, I mean, we only have a short little section, 200 feet on Cook Road, but then it goes to Sheldon.
Because if we start like naming, not that, to me,
Yeah.
all the town roads, because
Yeah.
everybody that wants to be able to go,
Yeah, and it's just, you know, you guys are in the middle road and some
Exactly.
say no, but there could be someone that ain't here that, so we're towards Highgate.
exactly,
You know?
so to go and come up with a plan doesn't work, we just need to be able to go on the town roads and if we see where we're
Yeah.
doing wrong, then hit us, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And then if we pass it, maybe Highgate will hop
I
on
think they
finally.
Right.
And I know St. Albans is getting talked about too.
Mhm.
Cause they see the money that they're bringing in.
Yeah.
I delivered to all those restaurants up there
Mhm.
and they're making a killing off this business.
Absolutely.
Bakersfield store was
here,
until he shut down because Bakersfield banned
Fire up there, the hundreds and hundreds of side by sides that come in here on weekend to eat and
Oh, okay.
on business.
Occasion.
Yeah. Yeah,
And look
absolutely.
at the business in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
You know,
businesses.
everybody leaves here and goes to New Hampshire for that reason. Our trails are as beautiful or more here, you know.
Mhm.
I'd like to find a way, James, to move forward this evening for these people.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ed.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Well, I mean,
You know, I fully support it, I just need to understand our rules and what we want, and if we're gonna have a time limit, and.
I don't think the people that are here tonight are gonna be a problem.
No, no.
No, and I think the people that are a problem now are gonna be then too, so it
And
doesn't
they're
matter.
probably
I
out
agree
being
with
a problem
you.
right now.
They're already a
Right,
problem now anyway,
right,
so,
right.
yeah. it's-
And no matter if we make it legal or not, they're still gonna do what they wrong, you know, we're all just
So
trying to
this
do
isn't
it
gonna
right.
change that.
Well, our hope would be maybe those people who are doing it wrong now might go, we might be able to make it right.
Right, and now
There's
we
a
can-
lot better chance that they will.
Yeah.
Put their money back into the town and do the right thing.
Why would you go get vasted and registered if you can't ride on the road anyway?
Yeah,
That's what you might.
yeah, it makes sense.
You might make some bad people do the right thing because you can actually do the right thing.
Now, I don't have to go 60 miles an hour ripping down this road. I can do 40 now and go down there. Why? Because I did the right thing.
On the level.
Yep.
I think for me, I'm certainly entertaining the idea of one, I would need curfew hours. I
Sure,
prefer the noise, I don't have one,
Yep.
but I'm sure like any vehicle, they can be very loud if you modify the mufflers. I do worry about the tax on the police department. Yes, the good will take care of the bad, but only so far. They still have to be, chased after to a point or stopped for whatever, for noise or whatever. Them are my two biggest concerns, that we don't have trails currently here. Because that, yes, it's a huge vision, it's an opportunity for us to bring people in. I think that we should come up with some kind of draft or at least entertain that to come up with maybe some rules and regulations at first, but I'm not in favor of saying yes tonight. I think we need to work on something to go forward if we go that way.
Has to be in the form of an ordinance of procedures that have to be followed on adoption of an ordinance. Which I should have had ready for tonight, but I didn't. So if we adopt an ordinance and it's gonna be posted for 30 days, right? Yeah, before it comes into effect, yeah.
How would the town expect to make any money off this? You guys talk a lot about the profits that we're losing out on if they can't come into the village. That eliminates all the restaurants and all the gas stations, basically.
Yeah.
They can't run on the state road, you said, so that eliminates 78%.
we don't have.
You
know,
can't
that's
get out of
our
there, you
restrictions.
can't get out of the town legally.
Yeah.
You know, just
I mean,
thoughts.
In
questions.
that sense, as you're saying, you want to be able to get in these things and drive away. So we're losing every opportunity, we're just giving you permission to get there. So in that sense,
But, but look at it the other direction, it might bring those people in that direction, this direction.
but if
you know?
you can't come into the village.
Yeah,
That's what I mean, so.
No, but people are getting bored with going all the way up there. People want to come down here and drive. They want to see you.
Mhm.
You know,
I mean,
it gets old going up there.
I mean, maybe it'll lead to other opportunities, who knows? I mean, the way I'm
Yeah.
looking at it is I do get the policing thing and I, but my argument still is that I don't know that it's gonna be any different than it already is. Those people are already breaking the law and making it legal is gonna allow more people to have the opportunity to be law abiding if they wanna be, and those that aren't and they don't wanna be are still gonna be.
No, but just
accountable.
if they're
You know?
speeding 10 miles an hour over, there's gonna be enforcement there.
Mhm.
I think the police department's taxed enough.
Yeah.
How
No, I
much
would-
more that may bring, I'm sure there is some.
And at least from this representation, I would argue that you're not gonna see that from this group, you know, there may be some of them that will,
Yes,
obviously.
absolutely.
Well, like Mike Coda last year, I put 4,000 miles on between the last year and a half, and we didn't get pulled over once, and we didn't, you know, going from Franklin on there, saw probably a dozen police, they were all there thanking us, talking to us, but I'm not one of us here got a ticket or got, did anything out of the way that I'm aware of anyways, because usually we're all together, but.
You know, you can, I think there are some ordinances for the loud exhausts or things like that, and we're
I believe
not.
in New Hampshire, there is a, only if you have an alternate
Right,
exhaust system.
right, so you could implement something, you know, that's also something that, you know, we're willing to work with all that.
And I know New Hampshire is a half an hour before dark too.
Yeah, does Vasa have, I don't know all the rules, but does Vasa have rules about riding on the trails as far as times and that kind of stuff, or?
I don't think so,
I don't think
no.
they actually, I know you can't, well, they do after dark rides, so I don't know.
I was gonna say, so no, we've
They
been.
do
we've
after
been
dark
at-
rides.
No?
On the
The rail trail, absolutely no ATVs ever will be on the rail trail.
Right.
Yeah.
The damage that could be done to that loose stone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's federal jurisdiction.
Correct, right.
But there are-
You can ride on Vassar.
And certain ones, well, don't forget when you get to the fast trails, you're on private property. So now it's the private landowners. A lot of these trails we ride snowmobiles on in winter are farmland in the summer.
Right, yeah.
Obviously.
And who knows, if Swan opens this up, my game, our Northwest Riding Group could go through to these landowners and say, hey, can we put a trail for your property? You know, like they have all throughout the state, sure.
I have a question. You talked about New Hampshire with the modification on the muffler. Is that a state law or local?
That is a state law.
State law, so that's nothing that we'd be able to do there.
You can do it a long time like that.
Could you put it on?
But I can check the state, maybe it's already in the state.
It probably is, because
Yeah.
any of the exhaust that's loud.
Well, St. Albans just made an ordinance for loud exhaust now.
I mean, cars are supposed to have
Cars,
it.
motorcycles, I mean,
We can take this on forever with it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of big areas, but
Have you guys spoken to the village yet?
No.
Maybe step 2.
I say if we get something here going, then definitely let's bring the money into the village. That's where we could actually do well with it, you know?
I wouldn't wait for us. There's nothing wrong with having a discussion with them prior to. Us approving or not approving, because maybe we say, yeah, maybe they say, yeah, maybe we work together. I probably wouldn't wait if I were you.
I mean, for us, our vested interest is getting from home and traveling places. To be
Yeah, I live in-
perfectly honest,
we
the
all live
village
in
doesn't
town.
do anything for me other than as a taxpayer.
But some of
relating to
them
our
are
town.
just across the river instead of going all the way around. and they-
I think it would actually be really neat to just, hey,
Oh,
it's a
for
nice
sure.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Let's go for a ride
Oh,
around town.
totally,
Yeah,
totally.
Get fuel.
Yeah.
And something quick to eat.
Yeah.
Be
I mean, it's in
nice.
all our best interest for the
I watch,
village, but.
I've been doing a lot of work in Redford lately, and I'm watching people are doing their grocery shopping with their side by sides.
Yeah.
They're driving to the grocery store, doing the shopping, loading them in the back and going home.
Newport doesn't.
James, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with this. And we'll come up with some rules and regulations and get these people on the road. That's on this side. Are you voting to approve or voting? I'm voting to approve it, yes.
So we got a motion to approve, open their roads to the ATVs and the side by sides for the town of Swan. Do we make this motion and then adopt our rules to it, or
I think you need to adopt the rules first. That's just my opinion.
No, we gotta do an ordinance, so we have.
we're gonna ignore it? So we have to-
What are the steps to do an ordinance first?
Well, I was looking for that before the meeting, so rather,
Well,
if you're gonna draft it, which is fairly easy because we've got plenty here that I can copy. Then you draft it, warn it in a.
We're gonna be-
If your motion is to
Adopt it.
draft an ordinance.
Then there's 30 days
that's
waiting
good. Just want to clarify if that's what you're saying.
And then it goes into effect.
Well, I guess it sounds like about the only thing I really can do tonight is to make a motion to start the process.
That's what I wanted to do.
Okay. I'll second.
All right, a second on that, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so now the next step is we're going to start the ordinance, right in the ordinance, and then that'll have our rules and regulations, what we want in there. And then we'll have to vote on that at our next meeting, right?
The little draft and we.
Discuss it, and then we have, after we vote on the next meeting, it's gonna be posted for 30 days before it comes to the draft. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Absolutely, thank you guys for coming, so,
Thank you.
all right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't have to leave. You can sit down in the meeting.
I'll be meeting anytime you want.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Do we want to talk any more on that subject, or are we good with that?
I think it's an opportunity. I think it has pros and cons, but it's the unknown that probably makes some people kind of worried. So I think it's something we can look at. Now, what do we
We always
do?
have, if it don't work, we always have breaks to go.
Well, that's what I was my question was, if we acted on it.
Susan. Okay, we're all good on that. We'll go back to the sidewalk. How we doing?
Good.
Good. We're ready for you. We want to know.
Brad, I just sent you some info related to that about the ordinance process
Oh,
and
okay.
there's paper and stuff, so. Welcome. So Bethany Rivers with Northwest Regional Planning Commission, joined you via Zoom a couple of weeks ago where we talked about the status of the design process for the sidewalk project. And here to talk tonight more specifically about the engineering contract that you have and any other questions that come up. But I think that, did everyone get in your packet the 1-page update? I have a couple of
Yeah, I
copies
saw
of it. People don't have it. But essentially, where we are in the design process is that the engineers are finishing up the preliminary plans, which are also called the 60% plans. And V-Trans will have to review those. Hopefully we'll have that by the end of June. And those are that's a month. Once we finish that, then we move on to the next milestone of the right-of-way process to get those permanent and temporary construction easements. But the one little wrinkle that's come up in this project that I believe I briefly mentioned at the last meeting I was at is that Lamar Dickinson, who is the engineering firm that you're under contract with, has closed its doors as of Friday. The fortunate, the silver lining is that Trudell Consulting Engineers, which has an office in St. Albans, I think the other one's in Chittenden County, they have purchased all the project files from Lamar Dickinson, and all the remaining employees for L&D are moving to TCE. So because there is this formal relationship with TCE, essentially, buying the project files, taking on the staff, it gives the town the option to negotiate, instead of going out to request proposals all over again and getting a new team on board, which could include the existing staff that are now part of TCE. That was one option, but because there's this formal relationship with, essentially purchasing the project, the town could decide just to negotiate a contract directly with TCE and essentially a new contract with them instead of doing a request for proposals and starting over. And this is all included in the notes, but just to give you a snapshot of the total engineering contract was $46,390. They have not billed since the end of June of 2021. And they do not intend to, and they're leaving $4,700 remaining in that contract. So you haven't been billed for a year, plus you have some, and that's.
So back up a second. You have that on there, those numbers you just said?
Yep.
Yeah, can I see that?
Absolutely.
So you're saying that the current, but their budget, we budgeted them was 46,390. That was for the whole job,
It was for the whole job.
for the whole job. And they've already billed us for $41,000.
Yes.
How is that possible? We're not even halfway through the job.
Yeah, so, and one of the things that we talked a little bit about this at the last meeting is they've run into significant stormwater issues with V-Trans. And being required to do significant design that was outside of the original proposal request to deal with stormwater on 78 and deal with the existing DIs and catch basin outlets. So that's a significant part of it. And, you know, so that's,
So we're supposed to pay them 46,000 and change for the whole job.
Yep.
And they've charged us for, you might as well say 95% of the job, and they're only half done. And they bid this job knowing what they had to do, right?
I mean, they did, except for there are several unknowable things in this process as far as what V-Trans was going to request out of the stormwater design.
Who would approve those additional expenditures?
That was my next question.
So I would, as MPM, would review the invoices and then they'd be sent to the town for payment.
Yeah, but who approved? when all of that-
It would be a change order, right?
Because
It was, you know, it was built under the existing
But they're
project.
still under, right, they're still under that.
Yep.
That funds, was any of this brought forward to Elizabeth or the board prior to this? They never been, we're running out of business, you guys are out of funds.
Well, I'm gonna be flat
Today.
honestly, yeah, I mean, I feel like we got screwed. They knew they were going out of business, they took all the money we're in, if you wanna ask me. I
So,
mean,
yeah,
it's pretty raw, I mean, we signed a contract, honestly, that's a breach of contract. They went out of business, so.
and I get your frustration. I also, you know, want to point out to the bottom bullet point of this whole thing is when we went out for request for proposal, the proposals that we received ranged from $46,390 to $146,300.
And I'll say, because I was on that part of that committee, it wasn't, we didn't decide to go with them because of that price, so to be fair.
Yeah,
So just a couple questions, I don't know if you have an answer. What would happen, what would the delay be if we decide to go up for bid instead of just signing a
sure,
contract?
yeah, no, because that's completely on. So the delay, the timeline would be release of request for proposal. You would have about 3-week open period. And then I would say, 2 weeks for you reviewing proposals, scoring them, and then selecting the proposal.
And the project would stop until that.
It would, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but given the timeline and where we're at, if that is what's going to make the select board feel comfortable moving forward and to know what options are out there, I think a 5-week delay is not going to make or break the budget. I will caution you though, that some of the prices that you're going to see are going to shock you.
So I got one other question. So has Trudell said any numbers of what it's gonna cost to finish the project?
So the next step would be for us to request a proposal from them. They, at this point, there's been no formal, that's why we're meeting tonight to say, do you want to enter into negotiations with TCE, request that revised scope and cost proposal, or do you want to go out and do a request for proposals?
If we went out to request for a new proposal, would them company really truly have access to them files because this company bought that, correct? Would they have access to that information?
So that, I haven't run into the situation before. I would say that they own the files, but it was paid for by public funds.
Yeah, well, we own the file. Technically, we paid for our contract, that information's ours.
well, can't we get the files?
That's what I'm saying.
Can't we request them?
I'm sure that you get the files.
I hope so. My other question is, where's all this additional money gonna come from?
Well, that's a good question.
Yep, so that on the right-hand side of the table that I have in the update, I have the original grant budget for you to kind of look at. So one thing to look at is that in the original grant budget, the town said that there was going to be $56,615 for NPM services. And NRPC's contract for those NPM services are $28,000. And you'll see that we're being really conservative with using that budget, just under
Now,
$6,500.
wasn't there around a $30,000 buffer or something we added? We put
Yeah.
additional money in or something.
Absolutely, so we moved that, essentially that $30,000, no, that's not 30. We moved money, that difference between what you anticipated for NPM and what you were contracted for NPM, we just threw it back down into construction. But just pointing out that that's what you originally anticipated. And then you originally anticipated $56,615 for design. So about $10,000 under budget there. So that is where, that is the wiggle room that you have. But I think we're all, realistic around this table of knowing what construction costs are right now.
So you're saying that you're willing to give up your 21,000?
I mean, I'm willing to give it up, I'll leave right now, and you're welcome to have it.
Well, I mean, you're saying that's where you got all this money left over there. I mean, how much is?
Yeah, but she's not done.
She's not.
No, I'm not done.
Okay, so I'd still go back to my question, where's the money gonna come from?
So what I was proposing is that you already have, let's say, we have $56,615 that you budgeted originally for NPM services.
This is what they have.
Yeah, but we don't even know what
Current budget.
Trudel's gonna ask for when he finishes
This is what
this.
they budgeted.
No, we don't know until we request a proposal.
Access of
And
funds.
and that can either be sole source, because you want to, take a stab at negotiating with them, or that is because you go out for a request for proposals. And maybe TCE will put a proposal in, maybe they won't, but others will.
Where's the money coming from?
So we have $56,615 that you originally budgeted for NPM.
Yep,
NRPC's contract is $28,000.
yeah.
So that is $28,816. That is there.
So that 28,000, that 6,000 bill to date comes off the 28,000?
The 28,000 is NRPC's total contract with the town.
Okay, so that 6,000 comes off from there.
It
You
comes,
you
yeah,
have this paper,
yeah, he's looking at
Oh,
it,
you
so.
so the top line right here is
Yeah.
her budget she's talking about. She had 28,000. They billed us for 6,400 and change. There's 21,000 left in her budget for what they do for us.
All right, and then,
And
so,
then
and that's all you're gonna take is 28,000.
Yes,
You took 6,000 already, but you're.
I built 6,000.
Right, you billed 6,000, but that means you only got 22,000 left to bill.
Yeah, we had 21,500,
Right.
and we're comfortable with that. We built the budget knowing that there could be delays, there's right of way. We built the budget around that. But what I'm saying is that where I anticipate the money would come from, you're not getting any more money in the grant, but if you look at how you originally anticipated spending this grant, you were anticipating spending 28,000 plus on NPM, like more additional than what you're contracted, and $10,000 more in engineering. So, that's your $30,000 to $40,000 of buffer. Without taking away from what you originally planned for construction.
We did talk about it a little bit, but now I'm looking at the paper. Right now, the original grant was budgeted for 650,000 for construction, and you've got 690 right now.
Yep, so that's because when you got the NPM contract from us and you got the L&D original contract, we were like, oh, there's, this extra money, we threw it into construction. But in your original grant budget, you had 651,000 and change for construction.
690,000. That doesn't seem like a realistic number to me, to be honest with you.
It seems low, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
What that was,
Yeah,
that's
we're talking next year probably before this thing's gonna break down.
what that, you know, you have to look at that, this was, you got a 2019 grant, that's based everything on pre-COVID. Your construction, what you applied for construction was based on the scoping report. You know, so at that time, 2018, 2019, that's what that 650 for construction was. I mean, things have changed.
Yeah, pretty drastically. So if we go ahead and get all this stuff done, we may not be able to afford to construct it.
So I think that the town needs to always keep an eye on that construction line. When the preliminary plans are completed, that's the first time you'll get your true preliminary cost estimate from the engineer based on actual quantities of materials. And from there, you'll need to make the decision, okay, do we have enough money? If you don't, then you have the option to apply for additional grant funds through these programs. And there's lots of precedents where V-Trans will fund, you know, give you additional funds for a project that's moving along. You know, I'll give you that caveat though, that any additional grant funds you apply for, that's more match money. Yeah.
Why is our match on this?
Your match is
200,000, I think. That's what we've set aside, or working on set aside.
40 for 5 years.
Budget 40,000.
Yeah.
it's 20% of 790. So 158,000.
Yeah.
All told, and that's a reimbursement. It's pay as you go, so you've paid about $10,900 in match so far, based on your expenditures.
For being on that period of time for that price, and that year to go sign off for their end, and all the safety. That's a really good deal for the town. You know, obviously, you can't see what's gonna happen with COVID, and now it may go up, but still for 158,000. I think that was a good deal.
Yeah, well, but it's not realistic.
No.
Well, I guess we don't have much of a choice here. We have extra money that we can use to, is that extra 21,000 or whatever's left? It looks like close to 28,000 off that NPM thing. Is that gonna be enough to finish?
Yeah.
So we'll know that once we have a proposal from TCE. I think, I mean, I shouldn't guesstimate what they say. I think that TCE, with using the existing staff that have knowledge of the project, have the project files, have the momentum, I think that they could be the most cost effective to take this to completion. I think going with a new firm, you know, just looking at the ranges of proposals we got the first time,
Well,
that was up to 146.
how quick can you get a proposal from?
I could probably get a proposal by your next meeting, 2 weeks from now.
It's actually 3 weeks, the 7th.
Oh, give you even more time.
June 7th, but you send out the packets on Friday at the latest.
Yeah, I send them out on Friday, I email, so they, you know.
June 3rd.
June 3rd.
So if you went that route, if you wanted to first see a proposal from TCE, it would be, you know, tonight making the decision that you want to at least, you know, enter negotiations with TCE, request a proposal from them, which we would have for your board packet for June 3rd, for your June 7th meeting.
Well, I would make a motion to that effect, that we find out what they're gonna charge. We're not accepting what they're, we just want the proposal here for the next meeting. And then we have the information we need, whether we wanna go out, you know what I mean? And if this is within what we can afford, then we probably might just well go forward. If it's what we can afford.
I'll go along with that, I don't know, but I'd like to, James, I'd like to authorize Brian to talk to our lawyer there, to look into this. I think this is a breach of contract.
our original contract.
I have no problem with that, I have no
I
problem.
really think that, you know, we hired them to do a contract, you know, to do the job, you know, it's not on business and took our money, if you ask me.
Well, the only thing that really bothers me about this, of course, I wasn't involved with it when it first started, is how come nobody reported to the board that we were way over on this stuff? I don't remember anybody saying anything since I've been on the board.
So I would go back to the written updates that were submitted to the board that have a budget summary, and I'm happy to provide those back ones because it did, you know, show where we are in the status and how much has been spent. And I'm happy to, you know, kind of bundle those up together, because I think that would be helpful for you to see. You know, in addition to, you know, talking with your attorney.
Because in general, you know, when you're spending that much extra money on a project, generally the board has to approve that expenditure.
Didn't they appoint David? Wasn't David approved? Because David would send them to me for approval for payment.
So just to clarify, you had a motion, did you second?
Yeah, no, well, we didn't get a second on it yet, but.
The motion got jumbled in translation.
What's that?
The motion got jumbled in translation. It started with one motion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you made a motion to.
So,
I'm moving that we
motion.
request.
Yeah.
Yeah, a proposal from TC, whatever the hell they are.
True Dow Engineers.
And for our next meeting, so we can make a decision whether, you know, we're gonna go forward with them or not.
Yeah.
We need to get some kind of dollar number
Yeah.
here,
That's, I agree on that part.
because all we got left.
I'll get a second on
I
Roosevelt,
second.
then their motion. All right, any other discussion on that part? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. All right. And then we're gonna had asked to have Brian, so that have Brian Monahan look at our. And also about that contract we have with him, so we have a copy of it somewhere. You know,
I made a motion.
yeah.
And let me know what I have all the contracts. Yeah, so I can use
I
everything.
have all that stuff in my folder, and all that, and all copies of all the bills and
All right.
everything in folder, so.
I'll explain to him the
You can-
situation,
you can
yeah,
go
so,
do it.
yeah.
I made a motion.
Oh, so you made a motion?
Okay, you're making a motion for Brian to do that.
Yeah, I made that motion, Mark seconded it, for Brian to have Brian Monahan look at that contract. Any other discussion on that part? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Okay,
Thank you.
Excellent.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah, so you too.
Safe travels.
Dog license letter, seven.
There's one on there, that's the annual license. The dog that has not been relicensed. On the, said that.
Jason Bell.
That goes out to all previous.
All previous. I did it all that, and I have the original here, if you'd like to sign it, I believe it's the same one.
Okay. So I entertain a motion to send this letter out to previous owners of the dog. Yeah, there we go.
I'll second this.
All right,
What letter are you talking about?
any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The
Opposed?
dogs
Ayes
are
have it.
registered, which they aren't by April 1st, is a letter we sent to them reminding them they need to register their dog. Oh.
Yeah, for unregistered dogs, people that didn't pay the licenses, but first.
Well, I didn't know if that pertained to us or not.
Yeah.
It just said.
Community economic development, we need into that.
Yeah, these are the RTP grant letter submission. As you know, Joel Clark has been working on the RTP grant, since we can get the Ursa grant for the trailhead.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of things that he asked me today. First of all, I wanted to remind you that this grant does require a 20% matching fund, which would be $6,000.
Yeah.
There is a maintenance letter that was originally done for the Ursa grant. They require the same sort of letter, which I have just basically, instead of having David send it, I've printed a new letter that would say that it's the same language, that the town of Swanton has funds committed in its annual budget for maintenance of town roads and parking areas, which would include the operation and maintenance of the
RT Western Terminus Trailhead is constructed. The funds would be available in future annual town highway budget. Town of Swanton Selectboard has approved this project. It's committed funds in the highway budget to help pay for annual operation and maintenance of the trailhead. This little set for the Ursa grant. This would be for the that. Then this is gonna get submitted, I believe it's May 26th. He wants to know who's authorized to submit for the town. And I've submitted grants in the past and I can, so I basically need your authority to sign this letter as well as to submit the grant application. when it's ready to go.
I'll make that motion to authorize Brian to sign and submit.
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, let's have it. You all set it up, Ryan? That's it for that, okay, thank you. We're on the highway. Mr. Blair is here to discuss minimal risers on the ground.
You want me up there?
You can if you want.
Yeah, I'll stay right here.
You can stay right there.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to sit where you're going.
I'm just questioning why we would be responsible for the manhole risers because the sewer system has nothing to do with the road.
Does when you pave it.
No, it doesn't.
Well, we can pay
I've worked for 40 years doing estimates on projects like this, and that usually goes with the paper.
The problem is, David, is we, the town, are only obligated to maintain the road, we're not obligated to maintain sewer.
But that's part of maintenance of the road.
We have no obligation or contract to maintain into the sewer system or the sewer vehicles. We don't want any other road that we don't have a sewer system in. We don't, the town doesn't maintain the sewer system, we don't.
That the sewer system is fine.
Yeah.
By changing the road, you're making the changes, we aren't.
We're paving the road, that's something we're obligated to do.
Then pave the road.
So you want to dump the dumps when you go over all the manholes, so you don't want to change them?
That's the process. I mean, we haven't had any work done out there for over 30 years. We've got 35 houses out there that have been paying taxes, and what we've got from the town is our road club.
Yeah. But
And I think
I'm not gonna go back and forth arguing, do you realize how much your taxes actually go to the highway budget? It's not much. It's pennies.
It's the same as everybody else.
It is, I mean, I'm just making that clear, just because.
No,
some
I
basic
and I
$1,000
understand
taxes
that,
Doesn't
but-
mean the highway department's getting,
But
you know,
the
I mean, it's
sewer
costing us
system-
$50-some thousand to pay that road.
Then that's our tax dollar,
Yeah.
yes, I understand. that.
Yeah,
But you have to do that to any town road, correct?
Yes.
I got one question.
Now, if there's culverts or something,
Mhm.
you have to fix the culvert if you pave the road.
On our town roads, we do, yeah. So we would have to fix a culvert if there was a culvert out there, I mean, that is that.
How much do them things cost?
I don't have the price on it.
Well,
It's probably in here.
Dean got a price of, I think, $2,700.
That's right.
I can get them through where I work for, I think it was 1,700.
That's problem. That's
That's
problem.
for everything. I spoke to Dean about everything.
And the village will do like.
But I want to throw something else in the pot. We don't collect any money from the sewer and water system out there, the village does. So why do we have to fix the manholes for the water and sewer system that we collect nothing off of?
I mean, I can't tell you that. I can tell you.
I'm not here to argue, I'm just trying
No,
to
and I
point
understand,
that.
but if you see our situation, I've been out there for 42, almost 43 years. I'm the first house out there. Everything out there was to be inspected and approved. And I believe it was by the village for the town. Then it was accepted. Well, the power lines out there, not incongruous. The water lines, a lot of them, pieces of crap.
Yeah.
Anything that's had to be repaired, we've taken care of for all these years.
Yeah.
Most of it was not our problem. I mean, we didn't fight with the town or anybody else about it. We've always paid it in the past. And I just think as taxpayers, we shouldn't have to make the payment on this. I just don't, I don't see any real reason why we should have to. In the past, whenever, to be honest with you, when we've had water problems, we've always paid for it, but the village has always been there to help us. And they've always gone out of their way to help us, and you know, and to be honest with you, I never saw the town around there with their backhoe or their dump truck or anything to help us out.
But we don't own the water and sewer system. They maintain.
I know that.
I mean, we maintain the
But
road, make
what-
sure the road's plowed and sanded. Fix
Yeah.
spots of potholes, you know what I'm saying, it's not,
I'm
don't say
saying
we don't do
that
nothing.
too, but it doesn't hurt to go out of your way to help
I think,
people in the town.
for me, I think for $1,700, if the village is willing to deliver $1,700, it's just easy to do. That's just.
You know, like I say, I'm getting them at cost from my company, it's saving $1,000 right there. And I told Dean too, if he needed help, I would help him. Get people help him, but it's tough enough now to pay all our drainage stuff and everything else with the association. And it's hard to get, have the money, and especially right now, it's tight with everybody, and it's tight with the town too, I understand that.
What's the pass process? Is there town roads that have, the industrial park has them? I don't know about.
Well, that is, it's different, the village and town, the village maintains the complete sewer system over there.
But
They don't,
I can
they
tell-
own the sewer
okay,
system. where they don't
I
own
understand
that.
that, I understand that, but I can tell you right now, when that got repaid.
Yeah.
When I was on the select board previously, the town did buy the risers from the village. The village did not supply, and we actually bought the risers.
It's before my time.
Yeah, yes. So that's why I'm saying, I mean, I don't know if this has been happening right along, it's been a standard practice, you're saying the guy paving is supposed to do it?
Well, I just
Apparently
say
not.
that's what I do basically for a living, is estimates on projects like this. And whenever they repay, it's not with the general contractor, it's the paving contractor that buys these items.
I make a motion that the town pays $1,700 for their answers. The village did it.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion?
I personally, before we go along with that, I think we should have a discussion with the village.
About the expense, you mean?
Yeah.
We're still putting the labor to it. I think that's all.
Yeah, we're putting a-
How much
the
is it?
town and the village are gonna do it
Kevin
together.
said that the village is going to install them, which includes doing some cutout, replacing some concrete underneath. And reset, so they're gonna be doing a lot of work there.
Basically, what they gotta do is
And
they
there's
cut
how
the
many
pavement out,
7?
they take them out of there, they'll put either bricks down or they make a concrete ring.
I think the cost of them is more than it is to us.
And they do have a few parts that they have left that they're gonna be able to use in that project, because actually those, I guess I know too much. The holes are actually smaller than they should be, so
Well,
they're gonna,
They're making
modify them to
they're
make
making
them-
them all the same
right,
size.
exactly. They're
And what it
on.
is they used to, when they raise them up, they start from the manhole itself, and normally they put bricks in. They used to get their bricks from the factory up here.
Yeah.
Well, I have half a pallet full of bricks, I told them they could have to do it.
Yeah.
So what they do is they cut out the pavement, take the risers out, they'll put mortar, put the bricks down to the right height, then they set these in here for the concrete.
Yeah.
So there's what, I think 7 of them up here.
Yeah.
So it is a process. It's
So the villages will take care of that.
Yeah, the village is gonna help with the work, so does the town help with it, but.
And then one of them, the seventh one.
Yeah.
Was taken out, but.
Yeah, we're supposed to get it when they're right here, so they're gonna replace it.
That project, so they're gonna.
Yeah, because they're paving the apron going in there because of the project.
I just think it's good collaboration. I mean, for the minimal cost, it's great.
All right, we got a motion in a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. Nice have it.
Thank you, I appreciate
Thank
that.
you, David. Have a good night.
And as far as can you let me know and I will get the manholes in here?
Yeah.
It's just, well, you're finding out with your sidewalk project. Next
They go
week,
fast.
I just go ahead and order them.
Yeah,
Just.
I mean, I'll order them up and get them in. We don't have to take them until.
and I'll call Dean tomorrow and tell him you're gonna be getting them, that we're paying for them.
Yep,
Okay?
Yep.
Get it
Sounds good.
started.
all right, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You
too.
Status of paving bids.
Well, that was just on there, because as of Monday afternoon, I hadn't heard anything.
We have,
We do have.
Yeah.
Some people interested.
Yeah.
And
Bikes have been done their road tour with Kevin, and so as it with them, the SDP and also did their ride around to check out what they had to do.
We haven't got any. Yes.
They will do till Friday,
Right.
and they'll show up all on Friday.
Friday at 4:30.
Get that last penny.
Yeah.
The office up front is closed Friday because Kathy and Tanya have to go to training.
Yeah.
But I'll put a sign on there for contractors with bid package to use this door, and I'll be there till 4:30.
So we won't open that bids until our next meeting.
As we
Well,
call it.
we're talking about that. too.
Okay, all right.
I didn't, time is critical here. I didn't know if you wanted to just have a special meeting. to open bids Someday,
I
lunchtime,
think we should.
like next week.
I agree.
You know, because it's 3 weeks to the next meeting.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sooner the better we get out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so I'm
thanks.
looking at, you know,
Yeah.
so what,
They're gonna be in this Friday?
This Friday, so they would be,
yep, they do it Friday, so.
well, the 24th, that's that thing that VLCT is putting on. Yeah, that's the 24th.
Oh, the webinar about.
Yeah. So those of you who want to attend that webinar, and I was gonna send an email reminding everybody, they can do it right here. We can have a brief meeting.
What time's the webinar? Noon, 1, 2?
Let me go look, I have it in the email,
10 to 12.
I think it was 10 to 12.
But it's you know, just, be,
Yeah.
but to work, we can do the bid opening at the end, so that somebody can't make it.
Yeah, especially during the week, I need a debit time.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I struggle at the meeting, so it's really tough.
Well, if you don't want to, just throw it out.
No.
What about, oh, you wanna do it at night?
Yeah, well, it's easier if we do it at night,
Yeah.
but.
Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna do a short, quick meeting, I mean, I can run down at lunchtime.
Right, for me,
Well, I mean, it's fine, but I can't
I
stay
need a
here for
definite
11
time.
for 2 hours, so.
I need a debit.
Oh, okay, all right, can we do it like, say,
12
noon?
Yeah, we can do it at noon on Monday if you want to do that. I'm good for 15 to 20 minutes. Whatever, no matter to me, where they're gonna be.
Tuesday, in case some of us can make it in for that webinar.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Just shoot me an email reminder if you would.
Oh, yeah, you'll get an agenda, so.
Yeah.
Will you take the minutes, Brian?
Yeah,
Or will you take the minutes?
either myself or Kathy, yeah, they're gonna be mine.
Sure, that's me. That's not right, you're only warning one thing.
That's it.
What day are we moving on? Tuesday, okay. Running forward.
And noon.
Like 12 o'clock.
Hey, I had a problem.
Right, glasses.
You're lucky,
Looking
yeah.
looking for your glasses.
No, I was looking for a short in my pants, I didn't want to chase heifers. I found it.
Starts at 10 past.
It starts at 10
Yes,
till noon.
so they just got starts at 10, I'm assuming.
Well, the meeting is gonna be.
Okay, it should be done by then, I would say yes.
What do you mean?
Palm Shore Road culvert issue, we have a culvert, 6-foot culvert down on near where Joel was that span. Palm Road, Palm Shore, we got them there, man.
That's our road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, it's in 6 feet, it's more than our town guys will change, it's a pretty good project.
So there's no state money available unless it was a storm, and I was hoping last night's storm would have been a doozer, but it wasn't. so there's no emergency grant or a grant available. And I've been thinking about this, I mean, I don't, you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures, I've seen it, I've looked at it,
Yeah,
but
I just
it's
wonder,
caused a dip in the road, I feel the dip in, so.
but I just was thinking this afternoon, I know that's dangerous, to start thinking. But, if, should we be looking, sending out, because this is gonna require a contractor.
Yeah,
Should
well,
we
I
send that?
had a thought in the back of my mind that maybe we ask, have Kevin ask or you ask, Scott Good who's doing a road on the Levy Road, how much he charges whatever to change out that culvert,
Or just to change it out?
just to change out that culvert.
Well, I was thinking if it needed engineering, we could at least.
No, we don't
need
need
it.
it, we'll be all right on that, yeah, so.
Yeah, I'll send it.
It's just a matter of changing the culvert, so.
Okay. Well, that, I think. would be
Maybe
good.
I got some money in the highway budget, but.
Just went bad all at once.
Can I make some comment on this?
You sure
While
can.
you're here?
Yeah,
Find out what the deal is. All right,
Yeah.
I'm Beverly Montiel and I live in 9 Farm Shore Road. Bring
Okay.
the Belrose house. you
oh, yeah, okay,
And I own all the way around to the light pole.
okay,
And there is a very big ditch in my property there
okay,
with a very large pipe that goes on the south part of the park out to the lake. I don't see that you're going to gain anything.
that's not the same culvert by your house though, you're by the beach, right? You're on the end by the beach?
No,
Yeah. You are on the end, but.
I have a, I don't know,
Wait, they're replacing an existing culvert.
Farther.
Yeah, farther, you're on this end by the beach, you're, I know where you live.
Yeah.
We're talking way down on the other end towards St. Albans end. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay,
Yeah,
all right, because
Yeah.
it
Because that's
sounded,
not the information that we had. It was somehow it was gonna come across and dump into her ditch.
oh, no.
And we're like,
no.
how is that even gonna help the situation?
No.
It didn't make any sense.
because it
to
still
us.
goes out to the lake.
Right.
Yeah, no, we don't have, no culverts that I know of as highway commission.
Didn't my father tell you that?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Out of his league.
Depends on who you're
Who's your
talking
father,
to.
Roger?
Peanut cheating.
Yeah. No, the culvert's not, it's all the way down the other way.
Okay,
That's why we were here.
Oh, no,
This is
so we're
very
coming
good.
out here.
but I really didn't want anything else.
I needed to hear it too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I have trouble enough keeping that fish clean. There are certain people that drive there obviously every day
Yeah.
that throw all their stuff in there. And I know it's the same people because it's all with the same brand of beer.
Oh, we have that on every road, man.
Yeah, and I'm the only one that cleans that ditch in that whole 100 feet.
Well, thank you for doing
Okay,
that.
all right.
Okay.
You guys all set, sorry, didn't mean to come out.
Well,
That's okay. I'm here. Legalized, no one's going.
Good, absolutely, appreciate you coming out, but if you ever have a question or concern, you can call here and ask Brian. He can get hold of one of us if there's something in the road or whatever, then be free to ask, so.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Answer your questions, so.
Well, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you. Have a good night.
So you just
And it's
gonna have,
not. They're in here.
I think let's just have the price and see what it's gonna cost to change it. Maybe you go like regular this equipment.
Wasn't us.
It's pretty high travel. I mean, we have, as Kevin pointed out, to me, they only have on very low, it's probably worksheet. This one is, it's got 10 cars a day compared to hundreds down here, so. So I mean, that's it, really.
it's gonna pick up.
It really is.
See what the timeline.
So I'll take that.
And that's why everybody.
We'll go from there. The single axle truck is broke down. It went to, it's supposed to go in the garage number, get it worked out today. Yeah, there's something wrong. One of the turbos is going on it. It has no power, so we had to grab a tool for it. And no using it up, I think. It's a never ending battle. But that one's actually not the way it was fine. Yeah, I felt well, it's cheaper to take. The 15, yes. Yeah. That's the last box. So that's where we are. Nothing. No, it's on the highway. Well, just the ditching. Oh, it is not Jones Start going to talk about.
Yeah, Reggie spoke to me because he lives in the neighborhood. It doesn't, it's not affecting him, it's the neighbors over at the other side where border the The trail.
I guess I'll have to take a ride down there with Catherine, so look, I know we had some questions down here around the spring, that was some spring. Yeah. Falls through, there's not much ditch down there, that's the problem, it's all swampland, so that's the hard part. But if it's something we can clean out, then we will. I'll speak to them about that. So I bring it up.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. That's it. Oh, general orders.
I looked at it.
I hear a motion to approve the general orders, April 20th, 2022 to May 17th, 2022.
Like that one.
I second.
All right, any discussion? Take a quick second, look them over. Other questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Highway, same dates, April 20th, 2022 to May 17th, 2022.
I move.
Second those. All right, any other discussion? Quick second, look them over.
Oh, you have 2 checks for that truck.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, Kathy decided she wanted to write two checks, so.
Because I wanted to short him $51,000.
She misunderstood me about the
Misunderstood
the
James
$10,000
also.
holdback. She thought we were just paying them 10,000, so then she had to send the rest of it.
That'd have been a good deal though.
I was trying
Yeah.
to save the money.
Yeah. So we're all good on that.
Okay, answer the only question I had.
Okay, all in favor then, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ayes have it. Library orders April 20th, 2022 to May 17th, 2022. Any motion on that?
Make a motion?
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion? Do we know if this, is that a yearly contract for the alarm monitoring? I hope.
I would dare say it was, if I remember right back to the budget.
Yeah.
That's.
Yes, it is. I'm just couldn't come up with the dates.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
okay.
from June to
Yeah.
May,
Yeah.
June something, and then May, like June.
Okay.
12 months, is what it is.
All right, then, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Payroll, April 2022 to May 17th, 2022, highway general library.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll for the month, from 4/20 to 5/17.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Both, ayes have it. Yeah, that's done. Any other necessary business, schedule a meeting, proposed use of ARPA funds. Yep, I'm gonna be honest, I think we should do something in June, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but have some kind of public hearing, take input on it.
Yeah, I think June is good, and I think we just need to make sure when we do it that it's public info.
Yeah, and that's just what we need to make sure.
We are elected officials to make decisions, but I think having their input is fine. There are probably things that maybe we're privy of or we see coming, but I think it's important that we hear now and we gotta get the process going.
Do you want to do, I'd like to do the week between our two meetings, so we don't have,
Special. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so we're not,
Be here forever, if it just goes in a regular meeting.
yeah, no, I just didn't want to have two meetings the same week, that's what I was shooting at. So we got 7, the week of the 14th would be our odd week.
3 Tuesdays in a row.
If you want to shoot for that, we can, whatever you want.
Yes.
7,
14
14,
would be
21,
the-
28.
Yep. 14th, 7 o'clock here, down hall, I think we just find when you're down hall. And this is just the towns, how the town's gonna spend the town's ARPA funds we're talking about, right, that's ideas.
Ideas.
Ideas, yeah, I'm taking info, yeah. So let's put it out there and make sure everybody knows.
Are you gonna get a bigger facility?
So I think we should do it right here.
30, 40 people if you want.
I want second.
I,
You really think we're gonna get there?
I think we should get a bigger facility, just in case, okay? Because I don't wanna be in a situation where you got, people do show up and we, crowded in here, saying, that's not fair to the public.
I can see if it goes.
And our schools out there too.
Well, I don't have zoning that stuff either, but.
I know.
Always figured if we get it here.
I know, people usually don't show up.
Yeah, we can use the village thing, but this is a town meeting, it's a town, we ought to have our own town discussion, how the town is gonna spend our money. This, the village has.
I'm more comfortable here, for me to go back and do it on the road. I find, I was gonna ask that we have some kind of pamphlet or verbiage of what we, not so much can use it for, but what we can't use it for. It's easier to say what we can and what we can't. I think.
Yeah.
That means they have opened it up, I think, they have something there.
We could put like something on the Facebook page, like a form or something they could click on to just put an idea out there.
So I said
Or on our
something,
webpage, one or the other.
I
I mean,
said-
on our town webpage.
so I said something to Brian that Montgomery did about collecting, it had a whole, this is what we can't use it for, but we're looking for, thoughts on what you can, so we can start to collect data prior to the event, and I can certainly put something like that
Just a
together.
thought, it might make it a little go.
That's a good idea.
Well, just put that out on the Facebook and then we'll put it on the website. We'll probably print some copies and just put it here.
Yeah,
On the counter.
I can stop in tomorrow and we can get it up and rolling.
Okay, that's, as long as we're talking about this money, I know it's not on the agenda.
Oh boy, I'm breaking rules.
I know, but we really need to update. We need to get things done here with our website and how we handle stuff, okay?
I spoke with a vendor last week and go on to the Town of St. Albans website and see what you think, their tax website. That this vendor I spoke to, he was doing the Town of St. Albans, there's quite a few others out there as well, but.
I'll still keep Brian on this.
Yeah, I have another list, so as,
Because this, what we're doing, we're trying to have this meeting and we got such a poor system, a poor social media thing. So we're missing, I'm not gonna be using it, but apparently people would use it.
I will tell you.
Well, I was actually gonna question you if you've been on our town website.
I have, in fact, I went on there the day after our last vote and I could not find the results.
Probably.
And that's when I said, this is, even for someone like me, I don't use it. It should be easy for people like me to find what we want on there when we're looking for something specific and you cannot do it.
Was that your
Without
first?
going through what?
Was that your first time
No,
on social
no,
media?
I've been on it. Been on the site a few times, but not very often.
There's that, I mean, digress a little bit, but certainly for a budget time next year, when we're doing the budget, I want definitely a new website.
Well, we don't have to wait for that, and I don't think we should.
But in addition to that, we've got to change our email system. That is archaic, it's nasty, it's hard to use, nobody remembers their
You know, like
password.
GoDaddy, I don't ask me why, it's because I couldn't tell you.
And,
Look it up.
you know,
I got mine written down on the wall.
I want to convert everybody to, I don't know, to Outlook, but it would be, eFormier@Swanton.
Exactly.
Yeah, and,
444
every would be responsible for their password.
Well, I don't think we should wait for budget time. I think this ARPA funds, and this would be a really good use of ARPA funds because it'd be more or less a one-time expense to get it set up. Then we would be responsible afterwards for the maintenance, and we may have to pay to have it maintained. So
Well, we probably will. I mean, there's this website that is not free. It's pretty expensive. The other thing is, and I don't know if they can program this or not, if we got voicemail here on our phone, we can't get that remotely at home. I've never worked for a company that couldn't do that.
Right.
Yeah. And so when I was out with COVID, I was like,
Yeah.
what's that? And so I'd like to talk to Peter Smith about.
Yeah, I think
Could be
there's
an
a-
answer machine though. Yeah. Well, I went through all the directions that I had and I couldn't see where there was.
I'll check with Peter, 'cause
Okay.
it seems like you should be able to call and hit your
Yeah.
extension and
It's
code
something,
and
yeah,
get
but
your calls.
anyways, it's things like that that you gotta, it's affecting, it could affect business, so.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Yeah, so, yeah, well,
And then this is the other thing too. If we're gonna, there's opportunities there to market Swan. If we have the right thing, if it's set up properly. And we need to do that. I mean, I drove up here tonight, tired. Not a good thing, okay? But if it's something gonna happen, we're gonna have to get aggressive about it. And apparently social media, or whatever you can call that stuff, is what people do today. So this is where they're gonna go look for something. And we don't have a hell of a lot to offer when they come to look at what we have on our social media stuff.
right. No,
We need to change that. We need to do it as soon as we can.
I don't disagree, so.
Then we get there with process.
All right.
Well, wait a minute, well, yeah, maybe, if we're gonna do something, what would you like to do? Do we wanna get some people? Do we wanna get some proposals? I mean, you've already mentioned St. Albans. Some things to look at.
Brian has also looked into Castleton's as well. He's
Right,
been
Castleton
putting in the
is really
research.
slick too. And there's been some talk, and this is up to you guys and the village, obviously, of having one for town.
Well, I saw Neil the other day and I did mention that to him. It would kind of make sense to do it that way. Then we probably could even have a better site.
And the village, through their site, you can pay your utilities, and I don't know if that's something that we want to set up. The only bills we have to pay taxes, but I was asked when the dog licenses were, if somebody called I was fielding a lot of phone calls in there, and they want to know if they could just buy it online and pay for it. That way, we can, so that's something that.
Well, they gotta actually come get their dog tag and stuff, so it's not like, that's the one paid out of mail.
Probably,
Yeah, yes.
But we would have to work out the details, how to get the rabies vaccinations and whatnot. But I've been told by people who know there is nothing impossible.
Yeah.
when it comes
No,
to
that's true.
doing it, So, yeah, things of that nature make it easier for people to say. The hours here are great. I mean, they're open at 7 o'clock in the morning, close at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There's still people who may work a 12-hour shift in Burlington and that still can't get in. That's so.
Do you want Brian to gather some more information about site stuff and put it on the agenda for the next meeting so we can make a decision on what we want to do?
Check out St. Albans Town and check out Castleton and those are two nice ones. And then and I think dress it up and we can do a good job.
Yeah, but when you're checking into this, I wanna see if any other communities have used this for marketing purposes. To try to, okay, we got an empty, most of Merchant Road empty, okay? We have a lot of stuff here, but.
Well, maybe we should look around at other town websites and see what they look like.
That's what I'm saying, but we need whoever we get to come in and design this and get this set up,
You know,
Right.
marketing, if
Part
they're
of it.
gonna take pictures of downtown, I would not take pictures of Mercantile Row. I would
No.
angle that camera to.
I understand that, but how do you, we gotta put it, it's gotta have a marketing
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
I know when Elizabeth first started, she was putting commercial space
There
available
was
on there
stuff on
somewhere.
the website, but,
I don't know.
But I haven't found that on the website. I don't know where.
I think you're right, you get the information, what it possibly costs us, this is what we want.
Good, Earl?
All right, well, if we keep moving forward, because I think we're missing a big opportunity.
I think we need to get you an iPhone.
What's that?
I think we need the opportunity to get you an iPhone.
I
You have an iPhone, no.
iPhone.
Correspondence. Anything?
Didn't have anything. else.
Perfect.
Covered.
Public comment, anything that's not on the agenda, closing public comment? Using pen, this one's dying. Upcoming events, Wednesday, May 18th, the planning commission meeting, 6 P.M. here at the town office, 1 Academy Street. Friday, May 20th, town offices will be closed for mandatory state training. When-
But zoning and the listers will be here.
That's right, Frank Brian will be here, so.
So that end of the building. will be-
You have a question?
Yes.
What you got?
What day are we doing the flags again?
Oh, let me finish this and then we'll talk about that, because we do need to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I told you I'd help.
Yeah, we have had a discussion about that and I forgot. So let me just finish this and then we'll go back to that. Where were we? Offices closed, Wednesday, May 25th, planning commission meeting, 6 P.M. here at the town office, 1 Academy Street. Thursday, May 26th, DRB meeting, 6 P.M. town offices, 1 Academy Street. Monday, May 20th, Memorial Day, town office operations will close. The parade is at 2 P.M. on Monday. Tuesday, June 7th, regular select board meeting, 7 P.M. here at the town office. And I forgot, we could just go back, jump back, public comment with flags. We need to figure out and make sure that we're gonna do it. We talked about doing it on the 28th, but I have obligation on the 28th.
That's what I thought you said, but I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Well, both Mark and I have something going on that day, so we thought about what if we did it on 27th at 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
In the evening,
Yeah,
I don't mind.
yeah. So
Just
that
messaging my wife and
we
ask her.
can be there.
One of my granddaughter recitals, somebody just popped up this Friday, so.
David was in yesterday, and he's got all the tags, they're all in holders.
Oh, you found them all?
Right.
Perfect.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
holders and new holders.
Well, so they seem to be some new holders. He's repaired quite a few of them, and they're held together with Scotch tape.
Did we get the new holders? We got new
I
ones?
got them, but we'd have to cut the cards slightly.
But do they seal?
They do see.
That's
Just do it.
because we're constantly replacing, they're laminating, punching holes.
Right,
Yeah.
which doesn't work when it's windy.
So.
Now, so Friday.
Okay.
Friday will be there.
So let's change that. I'll have my wife reach out to the Boy Scouts and help.
So I texted.
Yeah, and I will call.
Probably do.
I'll call Big Safe, and maybe so you gave me explicit instructions how to call Big Safe, though I haven't done it before.
811.
I will call Big Safe
Do it all
on,
done.
What was that date?
24.
27.
So 27th at 4:30 here at the town office.
Can you send me
4:30 for you, or
an email?
Can I put out?
what's that?
Can you send me an email? and I'll
Call
start.
volunteers to-
Brian will. I'll let Brian do it.
Okay, somebody, please.
You know, anybody that's willing to help, it could take up to a couple hours. So.
Yeah. The more the merrier, it goes a lot.
We'll try
It's
to find
changing
a
the
couple of
tag,
recruits
something that I
along
can
the way.
have my youth volunteers at the rec department help.
You're coming in tomorrow?
Yeah,
Well, we usually put the flags up and then put the tags on.
I know, but if putting them in
Oh,
the
in the-
cases,
Why don't you probably just have you look at them when you're here?
Yeah.
And then we can determine, and they don't have to cut by month.
well, I have a paper cutter that.
How many we
You
got?
have a nice-
And we
Was it
go
like 131 or something like that?
What's that?
How many flags? It's like 131 or something.
150. Yeah,
100, just under 40 or 150.
Yeah, just under 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say
We had 100 and we had 50.
Friday the 27th.
Yeah.
At
4:30.
4:30.
Yep. Right here. Okay, 4:30. Okay, you're gonna take care of the big safe thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I got my insurance.
Okay, yeah, it's very simple.
I know.
Yeah. All right, you're all set with the flags? Like, are you gonna be gone that time? Okay, yeah. Executive session, I hear a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
I move that we find that we enter executive session for the select board to receive confidential personal information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
I move that based on the just made findings, the premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage. We now enter executive session.